Krishna devotees, welcome to BhagavatSanga program. This is our Srimad Bhagavatam program, and in this program we read prayers from Bhagavatam. These prayers are recited by pure devotees. The current theme is prayers of Nalakuvara. These are beautiful prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, from verse 29 to 38. Today we have a very wonderful devotee, Her Grace Nirmala Mataji, who will be sharing the verses and her realization. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. Before I start the presentation about the Nalakuvara and Manigriva prayers, I am going to recite Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Shrinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti suhrita satam Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim Yat krupatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. First, I want to say thanks to Satyasara Prabhuji, Jai Subhadra Mataji, Veena Mataji, and Prashant Prabhuji for the opportunity to give this presentation, which I am giving only for my purification. If I make any mistakes, please forgive me. Before start with the Nalakuvara and Manigriva prayers, I am going to give brief introduction about Nalakuvara and Manigriva, who they are and how they got cursed by Narada Muni. Nalakuvara and Manigriva, cursed by Narada Muni. In their previous lives, these two trees were Nalakuvara and Manigriva, the sons of Kuvera, the treasurer of the Devatas. As sons of a wealthy father, they had become addicted to indulgence, particularly wine and women. On one occasion, they, along with several beautiful women, entered the garden of Lord Shiva in Kailasa on the banks of the Mandakini Ganges. Intoxicated, they entered the water with the women and began to enjoy their company. It was at this moment that the great sage Narada happened to pass by. While the women hurriedly covered themselves in Narada's presence, the sons of Kuvera, intoxicated and blinded by pride, made no effort to do so. Out of compassion, Narada decided to correct their behavior by cursing them, with the intent of ultimately leading them to liberation by blessing them with an opportunity to see Lord Krishna face to face. Narada recognized that the sons of Kuvera had become so absorbed in false pride that they could no longer discern right from wrong. He decided that the best course of action was to deprive them of their material opulence, which had led to their degradation. Considering that animals have no awareness of their nakedness, Narada saw that Nalakuvara and Manigriva had become similarly ignorant. To remedy this, he thought that the best punishment for them was to make them trees and let them remember their past. Narada cursed Nalakuvara and Manigriva to stand as trees for 100 celestial years in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaja, after which they would be fortunate enough to witness Lord Krishna and receive his mercy. Following this, they would regain their celestial life and become great devotees of the Lord. Narada then returned to his abode, Narayanashrama, and the two demigods were transformed into twin Arjunas, trees. Here, like how they got liberated, Nalakuvara and Manigriva. Once mischievous Krishna broke a pot of butter and began eating the butter in a secluded place. Mother Yashoda searched for her son and eventually found him seated on overturned wooden grinding mortar, feeding butter to the monkeys. Upon seeing his mother approaching, Krishna fled in fear. Yashoda chased him through the courtyard until she finally captured him and bound him to a wooden grinding mortar with ropes as punishment. Afterwards, Yashoda returned to her household duties, leaving Krishna tied to the mortar. In this position, Krishna saw two tall trees known as Arjuna trees standing in the courtyard and decided to perform another act of mischief by pulling them down. In this slide, I'm explaining about like how Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they got liberated. Yeah. Though bound to the wooden mortar, Krishna proceeded towards the two Arjuna trees, determined to fulfill the prophecy of his great devotee Narada. As he passed between the trees, the large mortar became stuck, allowing Krishna to pull on the ropes with great strength. Immediately, the trees fell to the ground with a tremendous crash. From the fallen trees emerged two radiant figures, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, now liberated from their curse. They immediately bowed before Krishna, offering their respects and prayers, and sought his blessings to remain eternally engaged in his service. Lord Krishna, still bound to the mortar, smiled at the sons of Kuvera and acknowledged that Narada's causeless mercy had saved them from a further decline into hellish life. Krishna assured them that their lives were now successful as they had developed ecstatic love for him. He further promised that this would be their final birth within the material world and they would attain liberation through their devotion. The sound of the falling trees alarmed the residents of Gokula, including Nanda Maharaja, who rushed to the scene. Puzzled by the sudden collapse of the trees, they suspected it to be the work of some demon. The children who had witnessed the event recounted how Krishna had caused the trees to fall. Nanda Maharaja was overjoyed to hear of his son's extraordinary abilities, and the elder gopis took Krishna away, showering him with praise. The story of Nalakuvara and Manigriva illustrates how material wealth often leads to pride and sinful behavior, which ultimately results in one's downfall, both materially and spiritually. However, it also shows how even the most sinful individual can be saved through the association of a saintly devotee. The scriptures teach us that even a moment's association with a pure devotee can lead to the highest spiritual success. By Narada's mercy, Nalakuvara and Manigriva were blessed with the vision of Lord Krishna and developed pure devotion towards him. Now I am explaining about the Nalakuvara and Manigriva prayers. Krishna Krishna Mahayogim Tvam Adaya Purusha Paraha Vyakta Vyaktam Idam Vishwam Rupam Te Brahmana Viduhu. O Lord Krishna, your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. You are the supreme, original person, the cause of all causes, immediate and remote, and you are beyond this material creation. Learned Brahmanas know as the basis of the Vedic statements Sarvam Kalva Idam Brahma, that you are everything and that This cosmic manifestation in its gross and subtle aspects is your form. Realization from this sloka. Nalakuvara and Manigriva are praying their obeisances to Krishna, and they are telling Krishna that it was his own plan. Nalakuvara and Manigriva address Krishna as the supreme mystic and controller of the past, present, and future. त्वम् एक सर्वभूतानां देहास्वात्मेन्द्रियेश्वरः त्वमेव कालो भगवान् विष्णुरव्यय ईश्वरः त्वं महान् प्रकृतिसूक्ष्मा राजसत्त्वा तमोमयी त्वमेव पुरुषोऽध्याक्ष सर्वक्षेत्रविकारवित्. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of everything. The body, life, ego, and senses of every living entity are your own self. You are the Supreme Person, Vishnu, the imperishable controller. You are the time factor, the immediate cause, and you are material nature consisting of the three modes: passion, goodness, and ignorance. You are the original cause of this material manifestation. You are the super soul, and therefore you know everything within the core of the heart of every living entity. Realization from this shloka. Here they are explaining that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and controller of everything. And also they are saying that Krishna is the Supreme Person, Vishnu, time factor, material nature, super soul, and three modes of nature: passion, goodness, and ignorance. Gृह्यमाणैस्त्वम् अग्राह्यो विकारै प्रकृतैर्गुणै कोन् विहारहति विज्ञातं प्राक्सिद्धं गुणसमृतः. O Lord Krishna, you exist before the creation. Therefore, who trapped by a body of material qualities in this material world can understand you? Realization. In this purport, Prabhupada explaining that Krishna's name, attribute, and form are absolute truth existing before creation. And Krishna said, Sevonmukehi jihvadau swayam eva spurachadaha. Krishna reveals himself to those engaged in devotional service. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 18.55 by the Lord himself, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Less intelligent people cannot understand Krishna, but by doing devotional service, one can understand him. Tasmai tubhyam bhagavate vasudevaya vedase atmadhyota gunaischanna mahimne brahmane namaha. O Lord, whose glories are covered by your own energy, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are Sankarshana, the origin of creation, and you are Vasudeva, the origin of the Chaturvyuha. Because you are everything and therefore Supreme Brahman, we simply offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Realization from this sloka. In this purport, Prabhupada explaining that with our imperfect senses, we cannot understand Krishna. Instead of that, we can offer our respectful obeisances to him. Why? Because we are covered by material modes of nature. Unless Krishna reveals to us, we cannot understand him. Yasyavatara jnayante sharirinaha taistair atulya tishayar viryar dehisva sangatai sabhavan sarvalokasya bhavaya vibhavaya cha avatirnom shabhagena sampratam patirasisham. Translation. Appearing in bodies like those of an ordinary fish, tortoise, and hog, you exhibit activities impossible for such creatures to perform, extraordinary, incomparable, transcendental activities of unlimited power and strength. These bodies of yours, therefore, are not made of material elements but are incarnations of your Supreme Personality. You are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who have now appeared with full potency for the benefit of all living entities within this material world. Realization. In this verse, Nalakuvara and Manigriva are glorifying Krishna about the different incarnation he takes. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that Krishna comes to material world for two reasons: to defeat the demons and protect his devotees. Prabhupada gives example in Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavad Gita 4.8. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharataha abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritrayana sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna appears as an incarnation when real spiritual life declines and when rogues and thieves increase to disturb the situation of the world. Krishna, in his full unlimited potency, here shows that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For although the two trees were so large and sturdy that even many elephants could not move them, Krishna, as a child, exhibited such extraordinary strength that they fell down with a great sound. From the very beginning, by killing Putana, Sakatasura, and Trinavartasura, by causing the trees to fall, and by showing the entire universe with his mouth, Krishna proved that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The lowest men, Mudas, because of sinful activities, cannot understand this, but devotees can accept it without a doubt. Thus, the position of a devotee is different from that of a non-devotee. Namah Parama Kalyana, Namah Parama Mangala, Vasudevaya Shantaya, Yadunam Pataye Namaha. O supremely auspicious, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you, who are the supreme good, O most famous descendant and controller of the Yadu dynasty, O son of Vasudeva, O most peaceful. Let us offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. Realizations from this shloka. In this verse, Nalakuvara and Manigriva offer respectful obeisances to Krishna's lotus feet by praying that he is the supreme good, most famous descendant and controller of Yadu dynasty. And also Prabhupada explaining in the purport, the word Parama Kalyana is significant because Krishna appears in this world to protect his devotees, Paritrayanam sadhunam, from non-devotees, like, yeah. Anujanihi now bhumams tat tavanuchara kinkarau darshanam now bhagavata risher asid anugrahat. O Supreme Form, we are always servant of your servants, especially of Narada Muni. Now, give us permission to leave for our home. It is by the grace and mercy of Narada Muni that we have been able to see you face to face. Realization from this shloka. In this purport, Prabhupada is explaining that unless blessed by a devotee, one cannot realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. There are so many siddhas or yogis who cannot understand Krishna, instead they misunderstand him. But if one who takes shelter of a devotee who is in that parampara system of Narada, Swayambhu Narada Shambhu, then one can understand who is Krishna. Narottamadaasa Thakura also confirmed Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payeche Keba. No one is delivered from the material conception of life unless favored by a Vaishnava. Others can never understand neither by speculation nor by any other bodily or mental gymnastics. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has therefore recommended Vaishnava Thakura Tomara Kukura Bujiya Jahana More Krishna se Tomara Krishna Daite Para. One should desire to become like a dog in strictly following a devotee. Krishna is in the hand of a devotee, Adurlabhatma Bhaktau. Thus, without the favor of a devotee, one cannot directly approach Krishna. What to speak of engaging in his service? Narottama Das Thakura therefore sings Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Paiche Keba. Unless the one becomes a servant of a pure devotee, one cannot be delivered from the material condition of life. In our Gaudiya Vaishnava society, following the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, our first business is to seek shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Ado Guru Vasrayaha. Yeah, spiritual master is very important to grow in devotional service, to advance in devotional service. वाणी गुणानुकथने शृणवौ कथायां हस्तौ च कर्मौ मनस्तव पदौ यर्नः स्मृत्यां शिरस्तव निवास जगत् प्रणामे दृष्टि सतां दर्शनेस्तु भवत्तनूनाम्. Henceforward, may all words describe your pastimes. May our ears engage in oral reception of your glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses engage in actions pleasing to you. And may our minds always think of your lotus feet. May our heads offer our obeisances to everything within this world, because all things are also your different forms. And may our eyes see the forms of Vaishnavas who are not different from you. Shrinvata Swakata Shrinvata Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. This shloka explains about Navavidha Bhakti. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart and benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. In this purport, Prabhupada explaining about everything should be engaged in the service of the Lord. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. Narada Pancharatra. Everything, the mind, the body, and all the sense organs should be engaged in Krishna's service. This is to be learned from expert devotees like Narada, Swayambhu, and Shambhu. We cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. Krishna says, Bhaktyaham ekaya grahya. Only by executing the activities of bhakti one can understand him. This is called Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam, remaining engaged favorably in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That was such a beautiful presentation. You had such nice, beautiful picture of Krishna there. Very nice slides, Mataji.
Thank you,
had.
Mataji.
Yeah, very nicely you narrated the pastime and recited all the verses and the key points from the verses. 2 points I would like to share, which were outstanding in the presentation, is Krishna will reveal himself to only those who are serving him, and how you're doing the devotion, what intention you have, and the devotion service has to be continuous. That's the pure devotion service, right? So I think that point was highlighted. And the next point was that only by the mercy of pure devotee, we saw in the case of Manigriva and Nalakuvara that they got liberated. Otherwise, it would not have been possible. Because of Narada Muni, they got a chance to see Krishna and get liberated. And also the point that you highlighted, that we can progress in bhakti only by the mercy of spiritual master. So it's very, very essential that we serve the Guru and progress when we get the association of pure devotees and by a Vaishnava, right? And also that material desires will cause a downfall, having that so much opulence. That came out during the narration. So that was such a wonderful presentation, Mataji. Thank you so much for doing this service and giving us the opportunity to listen to this
Thank you,
verses, beautiful
Mataji.
verses. Yeah. With that, devotees, we conclude Bhagavad Sangha program today. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna.